It's a chilly morning here in Suffolk right now. This is the start of a busy weekend for me. I'm heading off for 2 games. The first one's in Bristol, the second one's in Manchester. This is all for the Women's Super League. So 6 a.m. in the morning. I need to be in Bristol by 10:30 at the earliest. Looking forward to it, and I will share the results with you.
So here we are, 8:30 in the morning, and I'm already halfway to Bristol. So today I'm basically photographing the Bristol City versus Liverpool FC Women's Super League game. My first time at Ashton Gate, which is Bristol City's home ground. It's quite a big stadium, it's about 27,000. I'm expecting there to be maybe sort of 5,000 to 10,000 fans there today. That's roughly the average that Bristol City women's team actually gets. So it could be a really interesting game, looking forward to it. I've got the R3 with me with the RF400 2.8. I've got the R5 with the 70 to 200, and I've also got the R6. So with the R6, I'm hopefully going to set up a remote camera behind the goal. I've got a couple of remote triggers with me. Fingers crossed, I'm allowed to put the camera down behind the goal and hopefully get some really nice shots of like goal mouth action and that type of stuff. First time I've actually used the Pocket Wizards, which are the remote trigger devices. So looking forward to that and seeing how that works. Fingers crossed, I've got something really interesting to show you. So just made it to Ashton Gate in Bristol, literally 2 hours before kickoff, so got plenty of time. So I'm going to make my way through to the media entrance, pick up my accreditation pass, and then make my way into the stadium. Match finished 1-0 to Liverpool, so a home defeat for Bristol City. I gave the remote triggered camera a go behind the goal. Didn't get spectacular results, unfortunately, but I think I'll give it another try tomorrow, make some adjustments. First time I've used them, so can't really expect to get it right first time. All in all, pretty successful day for me. Managed to upload and edit 70 to 80 photographs, all done within an hour of the game finishing, and also a few during the first half and a few at half time as well. Disappointing result for Bristol City, but they look like they're going to get relegated now, which is unfortunate for them. Pretty good game. I'm pretty happy, pretty satisfied. And now I'm heading up to Manchester to get ready for the game tomorrow, which is Manchester United versus Tottenham Hotspur in the Women's Super League. This is the Bristol City versus Liverpool, the FA Barclays Women's Super League. So just going to run through some of the pictures that I took here. Kind of arrived a little bit too early, but I managed to get some shots of the fans walking into the stadium and stuff like that, which is always quite interesting. Inside the stadium, I thought really nice shot of the tunnel leading to the pitch. I thought that was worth getting. So you notice here that the Bristol City Bears, one of the rugby teams, they actually play at the stadium as well. So a lot of the branding, a lot of the boardings is actually for that, not for the women's football team. But anyway, leading out to the pitch, a nice shot of the stadium and just kind of walking around and just getting shots. Thought I'd go back inside and thought I'd go back into the concourse area where all the fans kind of gather. And there was this sort of band playing. I thought it was kind of cool. Got a few shots of this band. I forget their name, but anyway, then back out onto the pitch and walked right up to the highest point, right into the corner of the stadium. And I kind of shot a couple of panoramic shots of the stadium there. It's always worth doing sort of 2 or 3 and then kind of picking the best one. So this one here would have been like a sequential pan. Had the wide angle lens on. I think it was shooting at around 16mm. So that normally creates a really nice effect. A little bit warped, but you get so much more of the stadium in. I think it creates quite a nice effect, but not for everyone. So then just general views around the stadium. Another panoramic from the middle of the stadium. Just trying to get it when there was just minimal amount of people, but as you can see, the fans are already coming in and players are warming up on the field as well. But yeah, I mean, if I'd have got there really, really early, then I'm sure the stadium would have been completely empty. Probably would have looked a lot nicer, but I still took the picture anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Players warming up on the field, always good. Corner flag, not a bad thing to capture here. That was with the 70-200 lens, with the players warming up behind. So good for branding, and obviously tells a bit of a story about what's going on. And then some nice action shots of the players warming up. This is Taylor Hines. So this is the Liverpool women's captain, team captain. And I think she's England international as well. So a lot of attention, a lot of focus on her throughout the game. And I think she plays at left back. So the match ball, nice bit of branding. They use these sort of plush looking Nike footballs. Fans gathering in the stadium, try and get nice, tight looking shots to make it look like you know, there's a lot of people there. I think there was only about like 3,000-4,000 people in a stadium that sort of holds about 27, 28. So it can look a bit sparsely populated. So you really want to get like nice tight angle shots there. That was with the 70-200 lens. While I was in that area, the club sort of mascots and supporters came through with all their kind of flags and banners and stuff. So I was kind of in the right place at the right time. I got some nice kind of wide shots of those. This was shot at, well, it says 10mm, but that was with an APS-C lens. So that was more like about 16mm. They're kind of looking at me, looking into the camera, which is quite a nice moment. And again, some more sort of corner flag shots. That was with the, it would have been with the 70-200 with the fans in the background. Like, again, nice kind of tight looking image to really compress like the background and everything. So it kind of looks like there's a lot of people in the stadium, and there really wasn't, unfortunately. Thought I'd take that one. That was literally the opposite way. You can see there, it's like almost like a completely empty stadium. And another shot, a little bit dark as well, so I could have maybe edited that a little bit better. But anyway, so now we're into the game. Some really nice action shots of Taylor Hines. She was really the focus of attention for a period of time, purely because she was on my side of the field and Liverpool were doing most of the attacking, so she had actually quite a lot of possession at the time. So this was a shot of Bristol City clearing the ball off the line. Some nice action shots there. Liverpool really relentlessly going forward. Bristol City really hardly had a kick in the game. So again, Taylor Hines, more action shots. Nice little sequence there. So this is where I had the remote camera set up behind the goal. Really didn't work that well. I managed to get the celebration of the player running off. This is when Liverpool actually scored. You just about see the ball. But I think the position of the camera really wasn't that good. So need to have a little bit of a rethink and a little bit of a play around. And it's probably a little bit too low to the ground as well. So I think I could have probably moved it a lot closer. Maybe at an angle would have been a lot more interesting. But, you know, you have to try these things to learn. And that's the keeper picking the ball out of the net. So that's from the opposite angle. So that's from the 70-200 lens. And you can see the player running off and celebrating. So it was kind of cool to have got that. And then all the players celebrating together. So I kind of unfortunately missed the actual player scoring the goal. I'm not sure what I was doing. I think my head was buried in the laptop. I was trying to send an image off. Yeah, bad mistake. Never do that. Never bury your head to the point where you miss the action. So always look up and see what's going on around you. But anyway, you've got some nice shots of the players kind of celebrating, and some more shots of Taylor Hines. That one I think I sent off. In the end, I thought I was really pleased with that one, with players challenging for the ball, and so I thought that was quite nice. And some more action shots of Liverpool players. They scored another goal, but I think that one was disallowed. And then some nice shots of the goalkeeper. This is all with the 70-200, I think. So that was the goal that went in, that was disallowed. This photo was actually picked up online, so I was kind of pleased about that. So it just goes to show, you know, you really don't know what's going to get used, so it's really worth trying to get as many action shots as you can. That was with the 400 2.8 lens, so quite pleased with that. So looking at the touchline and the coaching staff and the managers, it's always worth panning that way and seeing what they're doing. So that's the Bristol City coach. And then this is the Liverpool coach. So it's always worth seeing what they're up to and what they're doing, if they're making any kind of gestures. Nice action shot there of the Bristol City goalkeeper. And the referee actually contacted me through Instagram and said, do you have any more shots of the match officials? So I was quite pleased about that. So more action shots of Liverpool players. Of course, they had the most amount of possession in the first half. So, but kind of getting that impression of an empty stadium. So because I was positioned on the side where the crowd was, so the crowd was kind of behind me. So it kind of looks like I'm in an empty stadium. So then in the second half, I decided to kind of move to the opposite side of the stadium just to try and get the impression of, a crowd, and, just to see there is actually people there in the stadium. And so it was kind of working a bit better. So by this time I was getting a lot more action shots of the Bristol City players. They were trying to come back into the game, and you can see they're sort of trying to push forward, trying to get that equalising goal. Action shots of the Bristol City keeper making some saves there. So this is kind of what I'm on about, that impression that there's like a nice big crowd behind the players, and that's kind of why I moved, really. And more shots of the match officials, you just don't know, sometimes they get used, sometimes they don't. So kind of going back to that kind of remote camera, I wasn't really pleased with the positioning of the remote camera, but I thought I'd include some of these anyway, just to show you. Bristol City players kind of protesting, demonstrating there. And a nice shot there of the crowd. So another change of position, kind of went up into the stand. Sometimes you can do it, sometimes you can't. It really depends on the crowd. We had a completely empty stand, so some of the other guys were going up there. I thought, well, maybe spend 5-10 minutes up there trying to get some different angles. I was kind of pleased with these kind of slightly more elevated action shots of players kind of challenging for the ball. And then there was an injury, unfortunately, to Bo Kearns. More shots of the crowd. You can see it's really, really kind of sparsely kind of populated. And then we're at the end of the game, so there was all the kind of shaking hands and congratulations. And after the game, what tends to happen is that the players kind of go around and start signing autographs for the fans and stuff like that. And that's quite nice to capture. So I kind of went back to the other side of the stadium, packed up some of the gear, but then kept out the, I think it was the 70 to 200. That's really good for this type of thing. You can get in nice and close if you want to, and you can also get a nice wide shot. So it's always worth hanging around and getting some shots of the players signing autographs and kind of interacting with the fans. And so that was Bristol City versus Liverpool. So after that, had a bit of an overnight stay, and then it was on to the Leigh Sports Village for the Manchester United versus Tottenham Hotspur's game in the Women's Super League. So a bit of a break, bit of a rest, and then up again, ready for a 12 noon kickoff. So I was there a little bit late, I've got to be honest. I mean, it's always worth trying to get there at least a couple of hours before kickoff. For this particular one, I really kind of messed up because it took so long to find the place for the accreditation, to pick up the media passes and stuff like that. So I was really wasting a lot of time there. But by the time I got into the ground, I think I only had about 45 minutes before kickoff. But anyway, went up to the gantry and I got some nice kind of panoramic shots there of the stadium. This one wasn't particularly pleased. Normally I would go into the corner of the ground, but I was really kind of running out of time, and I really just had to get on with it and get down to pitch side and get myself set up. The real focal of attention was Mary Earps, having just won sort of Sports Personality of the Year and various other awards and accolades. So she was really like the focus of attention during the warm-up. And she just happened to be very close to me anyway. Really nice action shots here of some of the players going through their warm-up routine. Again, just happened to be in the right place for when the mascot came walking round. So I got some nice shots of the mascot. Players entering the field, ready for kickoff. One of the match officials kind of walking or running towards me. Players with the referee tossing the coin. It's always nice to get that. Always worth getting like the players forming that kind of that team circle before the game. So that's Man United and that's Tottenham. And then we're into the game. You're really trying to get as many kind of action shots. This is with the 400mm. I was shooting at f2.8 for this. Probably a little bit too wide, I've got to be honest, because it was kind of broad daylight. So we've got a shutter speed of 1/1600th of a second. So that's pretty good actually, f2.8. I think I'm slightly overexposed there, but they're very nice, kind of bright looking photos. Of course, Tottenham have got those kind of bright white kind of shirts. You really have to kind of lower the exposure compensation a little bit, just to avoid any kind of overexposure. But some nice action shots of the players, both Spurs and Man United. And then Mary Earps kind of making a bit of a gesture there. And this is when the goal went in. The first goal went in, unfortunately, down the other end of the field. That was 1-0 to Man United. Obviously, there's not really much you can do when the goal goes in and it's the opposite side. You just, that's just the way it is. But what you can do is get like the team celebration. Just get as much of that as you can. And if it means having to get up and move positions just to get a clearer shot, then do it, because there's a break in play anyway, so no one's going to really mind too much. So you can get up and move positions to try and get a clearer shot of the players kind of celebrating. And that was the goal scorer just running back to the centre of the field, having a bit of a word there with the referee. Spurs kind of trying to get back into the game. Some nice action shots of the players coming forward. As Mary Earps again. More shots of the Tottenham players coming forward. Nice shot there of Mary Earps with the rolling the ball out. So I was quite pleased with that. And so the Tottenham equaliser. So my cameras are slightly out of sync, like time-wise, a little bit out of sync. This sequence of photos it's not quite in order, but that's the goal celebration, the two players kind of embracing each other there. That's the only real action shot I got of the goal. I was a little bit blocked of the actual player that scored the goal. I was slightly blocked. But that's with the 70-200 lens of Mary Earps making a bit of a gesture with the ball behind her. I thought that made quite a good shot, actually. And again, the Spurs players kind of celebrating with each other. Spurs on the attack again, and this is when the second goal went in to make it 2-1. You can see Naz was the player who scored the goal. She's just behind that number 9. Unfortunately, I was blocked again, the goal scorer, but I did get the ball going into the back of the net behind Mary Earps. So that was kind of cool. Always good to get that. And then the Man United players all arguing with each other and kind of having a bit of a go. Always good to capture. Nice action shot here of the two players from either side. So nice shot of the crowd. I mean, Manchester United, I think they kind of attract quite a decent crowd at the Leigh Sports Village, so that's always good. The stadium just felt a lot more kind of fuller compared to Bristol City. So again, half time, the club kind of mascot kind of walking around and interacting with the fans. So second half, I was able to set the remote camera up behind the goal. Unfortunately, I was a little bit too late for the first half, but the second half, I was able to set the remote camera up. They let me onto the field and I was able to do that, and I actually got some nice shots. I kind of changed the angle and moved the camera much closer to the net and kind of angled it slightly. And so this is the first of the sort of usable photo, and you can see the Spurs keeper sort of getting prepared to make a save. It's a nice action shot of the Spurs keeper. Man United really, really pushing forward now to get that equalising goal. Spurs kind of hanging on a little bit. So a lot of the action was kind of coming my way, which is a bit of a stroke of luck, really. But still, still want to get action shots of the players. That's the ball being crossed in and being headed away from the remote camera. And some nice action shots there coming forward. That's with the 70-200 shot f5.6. You can see there a really nice impression of that kind of big crowd in the background. I really love that. The remote camera's working really well here, so it gets some really nice shots of like goalmouth action, crosses coming in and stuff like that. That's with the 70-200 again, player that just kind of missed the target there. Thought I'd try, some kind of panning effects. So that was kind of the first attempt. Didn't work particularly well. So I kind of switched the camera back and got some more action shots there. This is Ella Toone being subbed off. She wasn't particularly happy. So always good to get kind of like, player reactions for that type of thing. One of the players went down injured there. It's always good to capture some, the physiotherapy and the, players having treatment. Ella Toone again going off. So back to some action shots with the 400mm. That's the Spurs goalkeeper. So switched the camera over to a custom preset that I had and trying to get some of these panning effects. This one worked really well. You really have to just keep on trying it, and finally managed to get this one, which I was really, really happy with. So that was sent off, and I was really happy with that effect. But it really is sort of trial and error. You just have to keep trying with that kind of panning effect. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So back with the remote camera, some nice action shots to the Spurs keeper there, and again, United absolutely on the onslaught. They're really pushing forward. So it's a lot of action coming my way. Remote camera working really well, getting some really good goal mouth action there with the remote camera. Mary Earps is really late in the game. I think it's like we're approaching injury time, so every time there was a corner or a free kick, Mary Earps was going up. So we're getting some really, really good shots here. This is with the 70-200 from the other angle. And you can see goal eventually went in. You can see the Man United fans celebrating here. So always look around and see what's going on, and try and pan across and get some action shots of the fans. Cameras aren't quite, time-wise, are not quite in sync, which I've now corrected. So that was the actual shot of the goal going in. You can see the ball in the top left corner and the player kind of celebrating. I think it was Laetitia, yeah, another one here. The ball eventually goes in. Then she's kind of turning away, and I got that from the opposite angle with the 70-200. Yeah, really pleased with that. So I've got a shot of the goal going in with the player with their arm up in the air, turning away to celebrate. And I've got it with the remote camera and also with the 70-200. Just looks fantastic. Really pleased with that. And again, just shots of the Man United fans, celebrating, and that was like just behind me. Kind of misfocused a little bit there, but I kind of included it anyway. Fans' reactions after the game, and again, the players kind of go around and they kind of sign autographs with the fans. So that's really good to hang around and get that. Fans kind of waiting for the players, and then I just kind of leaving the stadium. I was walking around and I just happened to get the Tottenham Hotspur coach was just kind of sitting there, and I walked into the media room and there was like a very kind of small press conference going on. So I managed to get the Tottenham Hotspur coach during the press conference, and that was really about it. I was really pleased with the way the remote camera worked on the second game compared to the first game. But sometimes you just have to set things up and it's just trial and error really. So I was really pleased with the way the remote camera worked on the second match, especially when you look at the pictures from the 70-200 and from behind the goal, and you're able to match them up literally, at the exact moment. It just looks fantastic. So I was really pleased with the Man United Tottenham game, more so than the Bristol City Liverpool. It was just felt like there was more of a crowd, there's a better atmosphere, there was a bit more action. We had 4 goals instead of 1, so there was just a little bit more going on. But got some nice shots of the Bristol City Liverpool game, but I think just the way that I set up the remote camera for the Man United Tottenham game, I was just really, really pleased with that.